Even
And so
betrayal
today
becomes
I'm going to be
art.
working with the African Goddess Rising Oracle deck. Okay, here you go. So you can see it. It is available on Amazon as well. I think that's where I brought it from. But however, right, this deck taps into the divine feminine wisdom that's already kind of flowing through us. Okay, and so we're going to connect with our ancestors, just so we can look at the shadows we must face, the medicine that we are being offered to help support us, in the truth of our rising. Okay, now I'm looking at this picture that my bonus son drew, right? And he said that they were sons. Okay, but to me they look like evil eyes, right? But he said that they are sons. And look, you can see I got my little evil eye on the wall, and you can see the little pictures that he got drawn all over the place on these little pink sticky notes, right? But however, it's like I feel like looking at this picture just kind of made me you know, I don't want to say, yeah, it made me think, right? Because we need to cover and protect ourselves. It's so much negative energy that's coming towards us, right? And some of this energy is not just our own. You know how sometimes we be feeling like, oh, why I feel like that, just not feeling in the right energy or space. But a lot of times it could be other people's stuff, okay? And so what I'm hearing for you is to definitely protect and cover yourself, especially when you are watching these readings. Not just mine's, other people's too, okay? But cover yourself, right? Because it is a portal that we are actually going through to get these messages, okay? And not everybody has good intentions, right? Even some of our ancestors don't have good intentions, y'all. All right, but however, again, protect your energy, okay? Use discernment and never force the message to fit. All right. Now, I don't know what timeline you're on. Okay. But however, again, like I said, use discernment. I do still set my intentions before each reading. I am going to set my intentions again right now before I get started. You may hear some loud noise in the background. That's my son. He on his video game playing GTA. I got my door shut. His is not. So I might pause in the middle of the video and go do that. But I don't feel like getting up right now. Okay. But however, let's set our intentions. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, my true guides, for showing up. Protect us as we go through the portals and close the gates to anything not in alignment with the divine's will. And so it is. All right, y'all. So for card number one, we're going to... Okay, so it starts off with the ancestral voice, right? What wisdom is calling to you? What wisdom is calling to the collective? Two cards fell out, so I'm going to take three. Live out loud. Mayat, giving and receiving, and Yamaya, awakening. Okay, so those are the three cards that came out for card number one. So the sacred challenge. So what shadow lesson must the collective face? Shame. Okay, so that's going to be what you need to face, right? Spirit is showing you the challenge, the wound that needs to be acknowledged heavily. Okay, I also heard guilt. Okay, this has to be confronted so you can rise higher. All right, so card number three, the divine medicine. What will empower your rise? Manifestation. Make it rain, baby. I love it. Card number four, the crown. So what is the collective's rising truth? This is your blessing, y'all. Okay, so two cards came out. Creativity and then betrayal. Betrayal came out. Okay, so that's weird, right? But it's always a wonderful message that comes along with all of this. Okay, now I'm gonna go shut my son's door. One moment. Hopefully this fan is not too loud or a nuisance, but I need to do something, y'all. I'm burning up, okay? Yes, I'm over 46, okay? So yeah, it could be that, all right? I am flashing. But however, y'all, so with card number one, with that live out loud, right? This is where our ancestors or the divine has really been pushing us to, okay? We can't keep our mouths shut, right? This is what wisdom is calling to you, okay? It's calling to the collective for real. Like all of us are kind of getting the same messages. It's so crazy, right? So with this live out loud card, the message is very clear. Okay, so Spirit is saying it's time to stop shrinking. You can't shrink no more. It's time to honor your truth. It's time for you to be like bam, here I am, right? And come into balance, right? Because some of y'all have been giving away way too much without receiving it back, right? It has to be a equal give and take. It has to be balanced. Everything you do has to be balanced, right? There has to be some type of equal reciprocity in the process. Okay. If it's not given to you, if it's not pouring into you, then boom, you got to pull back your energy just a little bit. Okay. So I feel like that cycle was being broken, to be honest with you, because with your Maya coming through, this is about your awakening, right? This reminds me of judgment energy. Even when it comes down to your foundation, it feel like now you're building something a little bit more solid, right? Woo, this was deep, okay? Very transformational. I feel like it's very hard, very emotional. All I keep hearing is, you know how you have birthing pains, but it's like that, those healing pains, kind of the same. I'm hearing it, but I can't put it together, right? But however, you get what I'm saying. Those birthing pains, that's what you have been going through. And so the ancestors are calling you to step into alignment with your higher self, okay? Now, the challenge to all of this is, again, the shame, right? The shame. And then I also heard the guilt, right? But this is the wound that must be acknowledged. And so what Spirit is saying to you, that this is what's heavy, okay? This is what's heavy for the collective. Too many of us are carrying shame for things that weren't even ours to carry. So we got to rise above that, okay? We're carrying stuff from our ancestors. We're carrying stuff from other people, right? And it's their shit. But we taking it on as if it's ours. And now it's time for us to release that weight. To stop wearing the shame like it belongs to us, right? Spirit is like, nah, let that go. It's not yours. The guilt, don't release that, okay? Because that's what keeps us stuck in a low vibration, and pretty much you're called to rise, okay? And so Spirit is showing us what to do, again, to empower your rise is through the manifestation. And when I look at the manifestation card, it just really feels a whole lot like getting into alignment. Okay, you got the power to call in what you desire, right? But it requires you to get into alignment, right? Because once you remember that you're the co-creator with the divine, you don't have to settle. You can manifest the love, the abundance, the opportunities that are aligned with your actual truth. But it requires you to come into balance, okay? That's why, like, with all of these cards coming out, hey, it's saying everything. It's giving you all the tools that you need. You cannot operate from a lower frequency, all right, and expect to manifest. You have to go through the awakening, because once you go through the awakening, you face what you need to face. It starts to put you into balance. It starts to put you into alignment, right? It brings you that balance. You stop accepting less, okay? You start pouring more into yourself. You start being your true divine self. Oh, and this is like the medicine, okay? This is the remedy, let's just put it that way, to manifesting, being on a certain frequency, that frequency that matches the universe, okay? And then finally, with that fourth card coming out, with This Is Your Rising Truth, with the Seven Sisters and Aunt Nancy, creativity and betrayal, okay? This card is about, it sounds strange, but think about the pain, the heartbreak, the letdowns, right? They've been transforming you this whole time. And how I'm saying it is like you've been being transformed into art, baby. Woo! I like that. Your voice, your expression, all of that. Your crown is the ability to actually take what tried to break you and use it to turn into something very beautiful, which is you, right? You're the art. You're the canvas. Okay, and so creativity is your weapon, your healing, your rising truth, right? So the collective message here really is about you living boldly and releasing the shame, manifesting without limits, and using your creativity to transmute betrayal into brilliance. That is the rise of the goddess within you, okay? Remember that. I got one more card I want to pull. Etheric cords, right? So it's some type of karmic cords or something that's binding you to someone. All I'm going to say is, if it isn't loving you wholeheartedly, release it.